for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you and yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. So, male sense of entitlement, what is it and why is it especially bad for asexuals? Well, as you know, I recently, about a week ago, maybe a little bit longer now, I found a Facebook group that was particularly for Indians. And as you know, I like Indian guys. So it had over 44,000 Indians in it. Obviously, not all of them are guys. And but I decided to grow in this group. I've been searching for groups for Indian British Indian guys, basically, looking for Indian guys in the UK looking for British women. That's the type of group I was really looking for, but I couldn't find one. So I spent ages trying to find more Indian groups, and I found this, particularly dating one, and I found this one. And so, I have been disappointed in some ways from the group, to be honest, because I guess I should have known because it's a conventional dating group. It's not an asexual dating group, that there'd be loads of people wanting sex. But, it's one thing to want sex, but it's another thing to demand it or expect it. So what is male sense of entitlement? Male sense of entitlement is when guys think they're entitled to things from women, basically, or from someone. Usually, it's traditionally from women. Like, guys think women owe them something, owe them their bodies, owe them their time, owe them the home, owe them the money. This is kind of how it works. And so I have been absolutely shocked at the amount of guys I've had from that dating group that have been like in my inbox just being really, really rude. Like, I've had guys demanding that I message them back, demanding that I take their phone calls. I've had guys demanding that I find them a job in the UK, demanding to stay in my home with me. And it's just disgusting, and then obviously expecting sex as well. And I don't understand why guys do this. I'm sure their mothers would be completely ashamed of them if they find out their sons were behaving like this towards other women. You may have remembered there was a guy, an Indian guy, who, like, basically, I said I don't even really think he's asexual because he was asking to stay in bed with me. Like, oh, great, I'll come over to UK and I'll stay in a bed with you, And I don't even know the guy, and he has disappeared off Facebook now. I'm thinking, good, glad you got the message, because he was one of the type of guys that goes, oh, I basically am like you, not interested in sex. I'm sure I'm asexual. And then he's asking in another sense, like, to share a bed. But it's like, oh, I'll be with you and I'll kiss you when I like. And I do love kissing, don't get me wrong, but it's the way he spoke to me. It's totally disrespectful. And he was the type of guy to speak to me 1 minute and won't the next, speak to me when he feels like it, when it's convenient to him, all the time, like, not interested in me as a person, only when he wants something, basically. So I noticed he'd gone off Facebook yesterday. So I was like, yay, clearly been found out, but I just hate it, Yesterday I was also asked for nude photographs as well from someone in the group, and I keep getting added to chat when I don't even like sex, and it's like someone leaving their phone number for like adult 18 dating plus. That's like the real term. Adult dating 18 plus, etc. Basically, like an adult dating site with porn, no doubt. It's disgusting. And the other day I got added to a porn group, and makes me feel physically sick. It's absolutely hideous. But I am fed up with the male sense of entitlement when guys seem to think they're entitled to a woman's body, they're entitled to a woman to have sex with them. I'm back on Facebook dating, but the majority, apart from 2 guys on there, the majority of guys, they're just after sex. And not only that, they think because they're a man, they're kind of entitled to it, or, you know what I mean? So I had this one guy, and I told you about the friendship button, and I thought this was a really good button. But like I said, there's a lot of people that will actually friend you who want to actually have more than friendship. And this particular guy, who's not even my type, he wasn't even Indian, he friend requested me, so I accepted it. And then I said, and then he said, "Oh, actually, I'm looking for more than friendship." Well, at least he was honest. And I said, "Well, I'm asexual and don't like sex, so I'm guessing you do, and we couldn't be anything more but friends." And then he was like, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm a man, so, I need that." And it's like, that's the trouble with the world, It's like, just because you're a man doesn't mean to say you have to be interested in sex or you have to like it, want it, or need it. I know a lot of asexual guys, even in person, that do not want sex, that do not like it, do not get the urge for it. I think it's bad that the whole world seems to believe that it's normal for guys to just want sex, and that's it. And they're, that like, in a relationship, we're obliged to give it to them. I don't think they're used to someone like me saying, "Well, actually, I'm not interested in that." But I don't know how much more clearer I can make it in my profile other than I hate sex. I'm asexual in sexual orientation. I don't get the need, urge, or want for partner sexual intercourse. And, that's it basically. And people still are talking to me about sex on Facebook dating. And it's like, I've had enough. I don't want to talk about sex. Not everyone. There's 2 guys that aren't. But they're the only 2 guys so far, and there was this one Indian guy on there, and I just know he's not trustworthy for me. So in the end, I've just deleted the conversation. But he was on about, "Oh, I don't need much sex," or I don't that's not going to be the main focal point. I said, "Yeah, but for me, I don't want sex at all, not now and not ever." And then he's like, "Oh, but I could never marry." I'm like, "Why? Because you're either already married or or your mum's going to arrange a marriage for you anyway." And I don't do short-term relationships. So it seemed to me like he just thinks that because I'm asexual, he'd have a short-term relationship with me and that'd be it. And I get fed up with that, and the trouble with the friends button now is guys, like I said, guys are either on Facebook dating, not really wanting friendship, and it's just a cover-up, or they think that just because I'm asexual, all I want is a friend, and they don't understand the difference between romantic relationship and friendship. But male sense of entitlement is all about the fact that they think they're entitled to a woman's body, a woman's money, a woman's home, and they can just like waltz into a woman's life and basically do what they like and tell her what to do. And I hate that. I'm a person who doesn't like to be told what to do as it is. I'm not a submissive girl whatsoever, in my opinion. And and the fact guys think they're entitled to a woman's like money or home or body is just disgusting. I had another guy, and he lived in the UK. He was on Facebook dating, and he was all about asking me where I lived, and I said, I live in Exeter, and there's a train station, and there's a there's a Premier Inn directly opposite the train station. He's like, "Oh, a hotel, what, are you going to pay for me to go there?" And I'm like, "Of course not. You pay for yourself." And he's like, "Oh, well, why can't I come and share, why can't I come to your house, like basically stay at your house?" I'm like, "Because you can't. I don't have guys in my flat. I'm not allowed anyway." But it's beside the point. I don't want them stranger in my bed and in my home. Why would I do that? And then I don't know if it's him or someone else, because I deleted a couple of them. And when I saw deactivated conversations, someone has said "F off" to me. It's like, well, some of these guys, they approached me. If they're not really seriously interested, if they don't read my bio, then, quite frankly, I think it's them that should F off, not me, because they're the ones who came under false pretenses, But I've really, really seen strongly since I've joined the Indian Facebook dating group how much there is still a strong sense of male entitlement, and how it's really bad for asexuals especially is because obviously they are expecting that sex is a given, that that a man is entitled to sex and a man needs sex and it's a man thing, and I hate macho men anyway. I can't stand them. They drive me up the friggin' wall, But the fact they think that they're entitled to a woman's body and that's normal and they should just have it when they want it is really, really bad. And obviously, there's a lot of asexuals, not every asexual, but a lot of asexuals don't want sex in the first place and we're repulsed by it. then, it makes it even harder for us. And, it's not good. It's very uncomfortable, and I hate the fact of how many guys just want to use me for a visa or to get a job in the UK or sponsorship. Like, I can even do that anyway. I can't do that. I can't get a sponsorship job in the UK. Thanks for the thumbs up, and I don't know why they think that, it's just bizarre to me. It's like, do they not read the government website? In order to sponsor someone, you have to be a registered business. I work for myself, I'm self-employed, I'm not a business, not in the sense of a business entity. I'm not a limited company or anything like that. I'm self-employed author, right? I work for myself. Oh, dearie me, and I'm on disability benefits as well now, thankfully, since last month. So, you know what I mean? It's the way it is. And it's just like crazy. So I think it's really bad that these guys are really thinking they're entitled to anything from a woman. I really wish their mothers would give them a talking to and say, don't treat women like that, because it's disgusting. Honestly, it's so disgusting. I think, how have these people been brought up, but obviously if it's a generational thing, then it's passed down from generation to generation that, that guys are entitled to this type of thing. But no guy is entitled to a woman's body, whether she's in a relationship with him or not, whether she's married to him or not. No guy's entitled to a woman's money. No guy's entitled to a woman's home. No guy's entitled to a woman's bed. We're human beings. We should be adults, not vultures that are expecting something. You know what I mean? It's just disgusting. I think it's. I don't know what the mentality of is these guys. It just seems like they're 2 years old or something. I found that with a lot of the guys in the Indian dating group, I really am shocked at the amount of immaturity in that group. Like, seriously, a lot of it is just men preoccupied with sex, men preoccupied with porn, men preoccupied with like living a fake life, even if they got partner or married. It just seems so wrong. I'm like, what is the matter with all you people? I don't believe in being dishonest and ungenuine, and I can't believe the amount of guys in that group that are, and obviously on Facebook dating. I thought the friendship button was a really good button to have, but it seems like most of the guys they basically using it to like you, as in attracted to you, as in want a relationship with you. Not the majority aren't even using it as a friendship button. They don't seem to know the difference between the friendship button and the match button. A match button is when you want to, you're interested in a relationship with someone. A friendship button is when you're specifically seeking out friendship. But they're using the friendship button, like, because they're speaking to me, some of them, and they're like, oh, well, I matched with you because of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm thinking in my head, you press the friend button. But yeah, nice to know your ulterior motive, So far, there's only 2 guys on there that I spoke to me that aren't talking to me about sexual stuff. One, I think would be a good friend, but I don't know if I'll actually carry on being my friend, because I think I get the impression that maybe they actually on there for looking for a relationship rather than friendship, even though they know I make a nice friend. And the other guy I've just started talking to on Facebook itself as well. I have no idea about how it's going to go with him. I'm cautious about him. I don't know him that well at all. I don't know enough about him to assess him at the moment. So, yeah, proceed with caution. It's my words to myself on that. But he's not talking to me about sexual stuff or male entitlement stuff, so that's good. But I have to say, the guys that don't do that don't talk about stuff that they're entitled to, it does make them stand out in a crowd. Like the 2 guys on Facebook dating that haven't been talking about sexual stuff, that haven't been having this male sense of entitlement, they really stand out from the crowd. And the guy I've just become friends on Facebook, he wanted to know, like, why I liked talking to him, like, why was I still talking to him and giving him my time? And it's like, one of the reasons is because he didn't talk about sexual stuff to me, and he was respectful, and he was interested in the work I do for Asexuals, it seems. So, Yeah. But I am proceeding with caution with him because I really don't know him at all. So yeah, it's just a shame, because for asexuals there's a lot of heteronormative heterosexual entitlement going on. Like, they think they're entitled to sex. They seem to think a woman's place is to serve the guy and be subservient to him. That if, he wants food or money or place to stay, the woman's supposed to do that. I mean, I just am absolutely gobsmacked the amount of guys that think a woman should have him in her home. Clearly they're used to having casual sex. I'm not interested in that. If, my best friends come to see me, or even friends that are not even my best friends come to see me, for miles they travel, and if a guy can't even be bothered to get off his backside and come, for example, from London on a train to see me, then the guy isn't worth it, quite frankly, with you, because I go on a train sometimes for just a day to London, and my friends do, and people come to my asexual meetups from them through, on the train. Some people do come all the way from London just for the day even, so it's a load of rubbish. When the guys, some guys are like, oh, that's quite a long way, that's too far, and I'm thinking, well, clearly you're not that into me, because the guy who's into me would take time and would actually take time to come down to see me. He would not be hesitating like that. He wouldn't even be second guessing it. But yeah, the male sense of entitlement, it's like, it's really disgusting. I wish something would be done about it in society, and it's where the whole thing where guys seem like, they're entitled to things from women full stop, like a woman owes them something. They don't seem to see women as a separate entity in their own right. They seem to think we're just here to serve men. And I don't get that mentality at all. I mean, why would you treat someone like that? I bet it's not how the guys treat their best male friend, but because you're female, they treat you differently. And I think it's disgusting. I think if a guy treat his potential partner like he treats his mates, which is usually with more equality and love, care, and respect, then the main relationship he'd be interested in, romance-wise, would be a lot better, And I just wish society would change. I wish guys would realise that they're not above women. They're not on a pedestal. A woman doesn't need to look up to them. A woman has her own job these days. She fends for herself, supports herself, takes care of herself. She don't need a guy, And it's kind of like, what has these guys got to offer a woman? But, it seems like all they've got to offer is their dick. And quite frankly, I'd rather throw up. And I don't like being sick, because it's disgusting. I don't even understand the majority of the time why women like the male anatomy. I don't understand why anyone likes the male anatomy, but it's better than the female in the sense I'm not attracted to females. But I just don't get that either. I don't get why people think it's such a big deal. It's a penis, it's a dick. I mean, what is nice about it? It's wrinkly and looks like a sack of potatoes just joined it, and it's just like really off-putting. I just personally doesn't really do much for me, as you can tell. And the fact that every guy seems to think it's natural to be having sex, and if you're not having sex, you must be lying or not telling the truth. I've had a lot of guys that approach me and I say I don't like sex, and they seem to think it's okay for now not to do that, but in the future, things might change, and it's like, I'm not going to change. If I say I hate sex, I hate sex. It's not like in 2 minutes, 2 months, 2 years, I'm going to change my mind. I have been sex-free now since 2011, and it's one of the best things in my life. I don't want sex. I don't need for it. I don't get an urge for it. Like I had one Indian guy on Facebook dating who I've got rid of now, basically deactivated the conversation. And he was like, oh, so what made you asexual? It's like, nothing made me asexual. It's a genuine sexual orientation. It's not the same as having abuse and then not liking sex. It's not the same as abstaining. It's not the same as, just basically stopping yourself having it, but still get the urges. It's not repression. If I genuinely don't want sex, I don't get the need for it. I don't get the urge for it. I never look at a guy and think, oh, I want sex with you. It just doesn't compute in my brain. I just don't get those urges. And guys can't seem to understand why I don't get those urges. I don't get those urges. They just don't happen for me. I'm not interested, you know. I do get the urge to kiss a lot, usually. I'm trying to hold back on that at the moment, but I'm focusing on other stuff, so it's quite good. You know, I do get the urge to kiss and stuff like that and cuddle and hold hands. But I don't get the urge for sex, not whatsoever. Even if I'm kissing a guy for like 3 hours, it just, yes, I can kiss for 3 hours. You know, it doesn't do anything in terms of like make me want to have sex. I just love the kissing. The guy could not have anything down below him. You know, I want him to be a guy, but you know, what I'm saying is I'm not interested in from the waist down. So if that wasn't active, that'd be great. You know, and I just wish the world would change. I wish these guys would just, you know, the ones that have got male sense of entitlement, I just wish they'd know how wrong they're being, how bad they're being, that women don't owe them anything. Women don't owe them cooking, women don't owe them cleaning, women don't owe them a bed, women don't own them, you know, to be looked after. Women don't owe guys anything. You know, we're complete separate entities and beings just like they are, and not entitled to us or our food or money or bed or cleaning. You know, it's just so wrong. Absolutely wrong. You know, I'm a busy career girl. The last thing I want to be doing is taking care of a guy in any way, but being there for him emotionally and to chat to, you know. I'm not interested in the other ways. He can fend for himself. He's quite capable, you know. If a guy has to have a woman look after him all the time, what does it say about the guy? It just says that he's not very capable of looking after himself, you know, and that's kind of a sad thing. A guy should be happy to look after himself and think, wow, if I can look after myself, you know, that makes me a strong guy. That makes me feel good in myself. If I'm sponging off a woman, what does that make me feel like? You know, shameful. You should feel shameful that you're doing that with women. Absolutely disgusting. You know, absolutely disgusting. And I really, you know, if I was a guy doing that, I'd be ashamed of myself. You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? But there's so many guys that are doing it. So many guys that, you know, like just expect sex. And like the Facebook dating group I'm in, it's you know, this Indian one. It's got a bit sick, to be honest, some of it. You know, like I said, I've been put in chats with porn and all sorts. I had to say to this group this person that kept adding me to group, like in the last like 24 hours, I think they've added me 3 times, this one group, whereas this person is talking about like 18 plus dating sites. I'm sure it's like for sex. And I've had to say in the last one, will you please stop adding me? I hate sex, you know? It's disgusting. I leave the group, but they, you know what I mean? I don't want to keep getting added to this stuff. I'm the person who hates the sex and they're adding me all the time. You know, and I don't think it doesn't come across as a bloke doing it. It comes across as a female doing it as well, which is, I don't know if that's even worse. But in any case, it's all bad, you know. And so yeah, I think it's worse for asexuals because a male sense of entitlement, you know, is predominantly based around owning a woman's body, having sex when they feel like it, doing what they want, but also heteronormative stuff. Like I know a lot of asexuals that don't have kids, you know, and quite a lot of us don't want kids, you know. But again, if a guy thinks he's entitled to children just because you're a partner of his, that's not good for asexuals either. You know, and a lot of guys expect a woman to live with them, expect a woman to cook and clean, but there's a good proportion of asexuals that like living on their own. They like having their own space. They like sleeping in their own bed, you know, because they're asexual. They don't have that sexual attraction. They don't have the need to be in bed with someone, so they wake up to morning sex because they're not interested predominantly in morning sex. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to stay over each other's houses as much because it's like you've got your own life usually if you're not having sex, you know? You have a good life with all the sex you're not having because you fulfill it with different things. So yeah, I just get really fed up with all the stuff that guys think they should get automatically from a woman. And the amount of guys that said, "Oh, get me a job in the UK," like demanding it from me, you know, and it's like, answer my call now, you know, and stuff like this. It's like, or message me now and do this, do that. It's like, I'm not a flaming servant. Do you know what I mean? But that's the way they treat you, like you're their servant and their slave. And I just think, they need, I think they need a good telling off, to be quite frank with you. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell do you think you're doing? Speaking to women like that, behaving like that. It's appalling. Is that the way your own mother brought you up? I don't think so. You should have better manners than that, And so I just really find it really rude a lot of the time. I find it really like guys are so arrogant, like you owe them something. And like it's almost like as well, I get a lot of the guys, it's like they feel like they're doing me a favor by like, oh, like I've posted in the Indian group and asked Indian non-asexual group and asked them if there's anyone in that's actually in the UK. That's what I want. And I keep getting these guys come in my inbox from that group that say, hi, I'm Indian. And it's much to say, yeah, that's great, but I want an Indian guy in the UK. And I keep having to repeat myself like a parrot. Like, I want a guy in the UK. It's nice you're Indian, but I want a guy who's Indian in the UK of his own accord, without a visa, without marriage, And so that seems really difficult to get. And it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of like really off-putting. But, when I think about the people I know who are genuine in real life, if you know what I mean, or even offline that are not in that group, but they are online in their own groups or friend circle, the guys that are genuine, they don't speak to me like that. They speak to me with respect and caringness and kindness, and they treat me like a human being, like, hello, like, how are you, Sandra? How are things doing? Like, and they show caringness in their attitude towards me and curiosity and interested in me as a person and what I do. They don't speak to me like that. And I'm thinking, why are these people, these guys, some of them are like 30s, 40s, even in that group, why are they speaking to me like that? Where's their manners? I just think they're nowhere to be seen, to be quite frank with you. And it's a shame, because I believe in true love. I believe in people being respectful and kind and caring and actually wanting a proper relationship. But it seems a lot of them don't. They'd rather just, have this sense of entitlement and think the world owes them something. And that's very damaging, and it can be very, very destructive for the self-esteem of the person on the receiving end, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it can't be good for them as well. Like, if they think that a woman has to owe them something, what does that say about them? It says they can't provide for themselves. It says they can't think for themselves or be themselves, really. It's saying I'm that desperate for you to give me what I want because I can't even be myself. I can't even be strong enough to do those things for myself. I'm like a baby. I don't want a baby, to mother. It's ridiculous. I'm looking for a life partner, for a serious committed relationship, not someone to baby, someone to do stuff for, like a servant or slave. Forget that. I'd rather just be single forever and do my vlogging on this channel and do my blogging and help asexuals more, write more books, than lead a life like that, which is just full of demands, disrespect, dishonesty, hot expectations without actually giving something as well. It's just disgusting. So yeah, I think it's particularly damaging for asexuals because of, the amount of guys, for example, who think that a woman owes them sex. And also just all the heteronormative stuff, like if you are, if you're alive in this planet Earth, you must like sex because it's natural for people to like sex. And they say it as a blanket statement. Even one of the guys that has been more respectful, but in my inbox, he was going, oh, it's natural for guys and girls to be attracted. And I'm like saying, yes, but I get attracted. Well, some people don't get attracted, obviously. Some aromantic asexuals, those that lack romantic attraction, lack sexual attraction, they don't have any of those types of attraction. Some of them might have aesthetic attraction, but some people like who are aromantic asexuals, they don't have any types of attraction, really. You know what I mean? So it's not true that everyone has attraction. And also, I do experience attraction, but it's aesthetic and romantic, and other ones not sexual. And trying to explain that to them, because everyone kind of lumps, as a society, they all lump all the romance and sex together. They don't see that it's separate, but it is. Anyway, I'm gonna love you and leave you for now. I hope if you come across these male sense of entitlement people that you just block them out of your life. Set the record straight if you want first, and just understand that the majority of the world seems to still be hell-bent on guys thinking that a woman owes them something. A woman owes them absolutely nothing. So if you're female or any gender and you feel like the person that you're interested in or is interested in you just feels entitled, just stop it and say they're not entitled to anything. They're not entitled to your body. They're not entitled to your life or your bed or your money or your food or anything. It's supposed to be an equal partnership, like a friendship. I wouldn't dream of asking my friends to do this, that, and the other for me, to pay for me for things, to share a bed, to share a home, to do all this, like to get me a visa, to get me a job or something. I wouldn't expect any of my friends to do that. So why would we even expect or accept strangers to ask us or expect these things? We wouldn't. So never ever give in to these types of people. They are not entitled to anything from you. Always remember that. You're beautiful as you are. Asexuality is perfectly valid. And so is not liking, wanting, or needing sex. So is living separately. There's no one that says you have to live together in a relationship. You can live separately. You can have separate household bills. You can still love each other. You can still be in a relationship if you want. You don't have to do anything for a guy. You don't have to cook and clean for him or get him a job or do his work for him. You are a complete unique being in and of your own right. You deserve your own life. You deserve to be happy, and you deserve to live the life of your dreams that you want and not be demanded to do things by anyone, right? It leads to abuse and all sorts of nasty stuff that we do not want. So always remember, take control of your own life and leave behind the people who are trying to control you, and just let them be on their way. So yes, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to post an emoji or a comment below. Love to know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. I love you lots, and I'll see you soon. Bless you. Bye. Thanks for watching.